She is Ottawa's own. Country tunes with a heartfelt tone. From Nashville sounds to hometown shows, her music's where the passion flows. Now she's joined us here on TRS, sharing stories with pure finesse, with melodies that touch the soul. Brea songs will make you whole.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show.
I love that.
We have Brea Lawrenson here, award-winning country musician, and Josh has the guts to play AI-generated music as her intro.
So cool. I've never had that before. AI.
How long did it take you, Josh?
Not long enough. It should take much longer than it did.
I know, right? How do they do this?
Anybody looking for good Valentine's Day gifts, go to Sono.ai, write up a song, you're off the hook, guys. Cost you nothing, takes 2 minutes. You can even have it make up the lyrics.
Wow. That's amazing.
Unlike you, how long does it take you, and this is totally out of order from my question asking, about how long does it take you to write the fastest song?
The fastest song. So the fastest song I've ever written, I would say, came to me about 10 minutes.
From beginning to end lyrically too? Or?
Yeah, like I literally had to, I was driving and I had to pull over so that I could write it all down because it was just coming. And it's weird. I can't control when it all comes. It's almost like channeling, if I could say that.
All right.
But, yeah.
I need to dig in more here. I'm totally screwing my old question order here.
It's all good.
Can you tell me, do you have the ability to put yourself into that state a little bit? Or is it just something that can just hit you?
Yeah, so that's a great question because I've done it both ways. A lot of the time I just rely on my intuition and my ability to just all of a sudden, oh, I hear it. Like I hear the song. But then when I go to Nashville, there's so many people that do it like as a day job from like 10 to 5. And they'll have like 2 writing sessions with 2 different artists, from like one from 10 to 12 and then the next one from 1 to 4, whatever. And they have to do it like a job. And I've done it a few times that way, and it's harder for me. But you get better at it the more you do it, and if you follow the formula and you think, okay, this is the first verse, so what's next? But like if you just treat it that way as a routine, you can get really good at it for sure.
So routine or not routine for you, typically, do you know where you want the start and end points of a song to be, like where you want to take the character and then you write around that, or do you write that first verse and just see what happens?
Yeah, I usually, because writing songs have gotten me through a lot of things in life. It's more like it's very therapeutic for me.
Narrative.
So it's gotten me through a lot of stuff. So if I'm going through a lot of crap, then I'm just like writing all the time, or it's just kind of coming to me like all the time. But it's that way for me. It's very spontaneous, and it's kind of like, okay, I need to pull over right now and write all these words down before I forget them.
You know? I love the fact that you pull over to do it too. You're like, you know what? This is way more important than being on time, or this is.
Well, it is for sure.
I love it.
Because my songs are like, I call them my diamonds. I go to Nashville to find more diamonds, or I go to Nashville with my, diamonds in the rough. And then I go to the studio and I do record it all with the band, and it turns into this thing that makes me money as long as it gets played on Sirius XM and the channels. So yeah, for sure, they're like my little diamonds.
I love it. And they just need cut and polished a little bit, and they're yours.
Yes, all mine.
I'm going to get back into the question order.
Yeah.
We could go
Sorry
all day
if I ramble. I ramble.
No. You talk as long as you want about. Okay. People are here to see you, not me. They see me every week. I'm just. I want to find out like about you, where you're from, all that sort. What
Mhm.
made you you? So we always start at the top with this. You're from Ottawa, or you currently live in Ottawa. Where were you
Yeah.
born?
I was actually born in Richmond Hill in Toronto.
Okay.
So we lived there
Cool.
for about a month of my life, and then we moved to Carleton Place, Ontario, which is like 3-4 hours east of like Toronto area. And I've been here. I grew up here. This is my hometown where
This,
I'm at right now.
this is home. This
Yep,
is home.
I
I love
came
it.
back home.
I've had journeys in my life where I thought I was going to be somewhere, and I still came back to Pittsburgh. I love it here. I don't.
Really? Yeah,
How stupid that sounds to some people. Even if I moved away to my tropical island that I dream of,
I
it's
know.
still going to be a home.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I know you started music. You started. My notes say you started writing and releasing music at age 13.
Yeah.
Who was that girl like? Right before she wrote her first song, what did music change in her?
That's a great question. I was about 12 years old. No, I started singing when I was 8 and taking lessons. But then I started performing when I was 12 or 13, recorded my first album when I was 15. But before those days, singing was like a way for me to get away from reality. It was like a way for me to, I guess, anti-stress, like just to release stress, release whatever. I was so young, I didn't know what the heck I was going through, but I always wanted to express myself through song. So I think I wrote my first song when I was 12, and I was going through a lot of I remember I being bullied when I was a young girl, and not understanding why I wasn't accepted the same way as certain other kids are. I'm also
Right.
very shy. I'm very naturally I'm an introvert in in truth. And
A
my
lot of
because
performers are.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and
the
I've
real
heard
serious
that
performers, the performance is their way to exercise essentially, but
to
it's not their
grow
comfortable
and
state all the time. Yeah.
exactly. Oh, for sure. And it's totally me to a T. I get exhausted when I'm in social interactions. I get exhausted
Even the
easier
ones you
than
love.
even the ones that I love.
Yeah,
Yes.
it
Yeah.
still takes something out of you because
Oh,
I mean, as a performer, you'll know what this sentence means. You're always performing.
exactly.
Um,
You're always
um,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
If
And
someone
so
else is
that's
in the room,
always jumping out of your comfort zone, which, you know, I used to teach vocal lessons, and I always used to tell my students, get comfortable being uncomfortable, because
mhm.
that's how you're going to grow and evolve and, you know, learn all the things that you need to learn, the tools that you
And
need to.
if you're successful, it's a life for you of being uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Then
Every
when your
time I
whole
hear it's
social life blows up, you've really made it.
And then it's on the tabloid headlines, and
Yeah.
everybody's following you with the camera. I hope you like being uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. You got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So music helped you. It helped you express yourself and
Mhm.
relax,
Yeah.
and be closer to the person you wanted to be. Even though like those terms meant nothing to somebody at that age, I'm sure,
Oh my gosh,
or
yeah.
very little. Like I just know I feel better. So your
Yeah.
parents supported you in this. I'm betting just on the notes I have.
Yeah.
How did the conversations throughout your growing up years go with like you want to do this, then you better do this, or was it like
Mhm.
okay, how did that
Yeah.
relationship go?
So my mom was and still is my backbone. She always knew that I wanted to do music for a living and for real. So she took me all over when I was young. She helped me, and I joined a talent agency, and then I started performing all over, like every single weekend we were gone. My mom was driving me to fairs, festivals, galas, um, corporate events, and I was with my mentor, who was a part of the talent agency. He was known as the singing policeman, Dominic Darcy, and he taught me everything about about being professional at that young age because I was meeting a lot of people, and he taught me how to, introduce myself properly and basically to treat it as a job. And I was so young and I was exposed to all that. So I knew that it could happen and I could do this if I really wanted to. But I always had people in my family that were like, really, like, Brie, like what are you doing? Even though I
Yeah.
had such good success at the beginning, I had my first, when I was 15, I recorded my first album. I had my first record deal and my first like company official investors that invested into my career. And
Right.
we did like 3 albums. We went to the UK and we recorded with one of Elton John's producers from the 70s. Like we had a lot of great success when I was young. And
Yeah, constant movement forward. But I'm sure,
yeah,
there were people like, well, she's young and cute, of course.
yeah,
But what's she gonna do for a living? When's
yeah.
she get, like,
Like,
yeah,
what's your
uh,
plan B? That's what they always said.
uh,
What's your plan B?
starve.
Yeah. I always said I was totally screwed the first time I was paid to sing because I knew then that there was going to be nothing else I would rather do and get paid for, that I loved that much.
That's a song right there. Like the
Yeah.
first time you sang and you knew this is it.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
that's
is it.
amazing.
Oh
I
gosh.
I spent years with vocal lessons. I've always loved singing. I never had that moment, which is probably why I never went into music like I did. I was of course, I was in bands and all that stuff, but never
Oh, cool.
seriously. But like, I
Yeah.
love hearing the people that do something and it just clicks. This is it. Those are
Mhm.
the stories that you hear from everybody who's made it too. Very
Right.
rarely, like, I don't know, I fell over backwards and I got this big gig is a rare
Yeah.
story. People who love it, breathe it, and know it
Mhm.
is a recurring theme. So that's really
Persistence. Yeah, for
awesome to
sure.
hear.
Yep.
And the work, yeah. So the work involved vocal training too. Like I'm sure you thought you were good and were good, but how did you approach vocal training
Oh,
early
for
on
sure.
and
Yeah.
even later on as
Yeah,
your voice
it's a
changed?
labor of love. Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's just like they say about everything. You have to, if you don't practice it, then you won't get better. If you
Hmm.
don't use it, you'll lose it. Like there's a total thing to that. It's I had to, I mean, I was singing every single weekend, but on the same time, I was always going to my vocal classes. I started actually when I first started singing lessons, I started doing opera, and I learned how to sing in classical training. I learned how to sing Ave Maria in Latin, and I won first place for classical um the classical uh spot for the Montreal vocal music competition. So
How
there's
old
like
were you around that when this
I
happened?
was 13, I'd say.
Wow. And Ave Maria is a breathing teaching song. Like
Oh
you have
yeah.
to learn how to breathe throughout that song requires it in and out.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for
and at
sure.
13, it's impressive, like, to
Thanks.
approach it, I think, yeah.
I always said, well, and when I started singing in school in the choir, my teachers, my vocal teacher said that I was like a little pitch pipe, they said. So I always sang soprano, which is the melody. But I could sing all the harmonies as well if they wanted me to. So if there was a
Oh,
section,
beautiful.
like if the alto section was having trouble with their parts, then they would put me into the alto section. And
To
then
kinda
I'd sing
lead.
those. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that the rest could follow along easier.
Can you
My
guess
mom
what I
always,
was in choir?
I feel like you would be, mhm. Were you a tenor?
No.
Alto?
Basso, basso.
Oh, you were baritone bass.
Do you know how boring that that position is in any,
No.
like, think it's a little drummer boy. Rum, pum,
Rum pum pum.
rum. But no, that's like one little section in the middle. You could go pum, 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 pum. The rest of the song is just wake up the it's just horrible.
Yeah,
But I
that's
loved
so cool
choir. I
though.
loved
Yeah,
the teamwork of what you had at the end,
for
of
sure.
everybody, and everybody really helped. That's the one thing I could say about choir. I was a metalhead, very much long hair, all the things. But I joined choir, not for the easy credit, because I wanted to learn how to sing, because I thought metal would be better if you knew how to sing. And I just remember my best memories, and this is years later, were how we helped each other. And the musicians in a group is an amazing thing, of any style, of any whatever they're working on. It's just, when you what was it like with you your first time working with other musicians to create a song? And we're starting, and you could move it on to what it's like now, but I'm just curious, like the first time you walk in a room and you're like, I'm gonna do this, and like, no, we are.
Yeah, like the first time I went to Nashville, and I was like, okay, so this is even now when I go there and I work with the musicians there, I'll say, I want this song to have like a Drake White kind of feel, or Chris Stapleton, whatever. I think the last time I said Drake White, and so bluesy kind of country, and then the leader of the band, who's like the owner of the studio, he goes, yeah, I just recorded with Drake the other week, so I think I gotcha. I'm like, okay, good. They're gonna take this song that they've never heard, like that I've written, and then they play it like they've played it for years on the road, and that shows. It's like all they have to do is listen to it once, and then you kind of talk to them about the way you want your vision for the song, and give them a reference song, for example, and they just play it like they've always played it. It's insane. I would say that wasn't the beginning of my journey in the studio. I started here in Canada with a producer, and I was about 15, and he was wonderful. He was like a father figure to me, because my father never really supported. Like, he supported me, but he was always like, like, you're living a pipe dream, And then, me and mom were like, well, we don't care. We're doing it. Like, whatever, we're going. And we were always going somewhere singing on the weekends. I never saw my friends or anything.
That's where I wanted to go soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I never, if my friends wanted to hang out, they knew that like they'd have to like ask like in advance, because I usually was always somewhere on the weekend playing or singing,
or practicing, or
performing,
writing,
or going to the studio. Yeah. Like, I would say that those years, like, I was so lucky. That girl back then didn't have any clue how many dues I would have to pay even after that.
Yeah.
I was just so lucky. And I knew I was talented. I knew that I loved to do it. I knew that I could if I had the right support system. But man, it was the beginning of a crazy journey. And deciding to leave when I was about 18 or 19, I decided to do it all on my own, like without any kind of investors or any kind of producers or labels. So I totally switched, who I was working with, to a different type of music. And that's kind of when that's when I got into country, because I was more pop back then.
I did want to ask, how did your mother interact with you, or how did that conversation go when you're like, I want to go country? And she's your manager, and she's been with you through all the pop and pageantry and the shows there. And she's like, 100% yes, or was there discussions?
She was 100% yes. And she's always been, because
hey, mom.
I know she's amazing. And because she knew that even as a kid, like, I loved everything, like Avril Lavigne, Christina Aguilera, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. I loved Martina McBride, Jody Messina, like Shania Twain. I loved everything. And
I love these keywords going into my text search. Just keep going.
Yeah. Well, then, I just had so much to look up to. And like, my dad loved country music, so he was really happy. He's like, finally, after all these years, you're going to do country, because he loves 90s country. And I grew up on 90s country, Garth Brooks, Martina McBride, and Shania. But then my mom, we grew up listening to my mom's cassette tapes. That'll tell you how old I am.
It tells me exactly how old you are.
Tom Cochrane, Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac. So I loved I love classic rock, I love pop, I love country. So it wasn't a huge surprise to her when I told her. I was like, let's try
Well,
this. Let's do it different.
yeah, and some of those bands are country related. Fleetwood Mac
Yeah.
is solidly rock, but there's a very
Yeah.
big country vibe in there, especially their stories of, if you know the history of how some of those songs came to be, like, oh, you
Yeah.
cheated on me with this other person in the band, so I'm going to write a song about it and make you perform it every night for the rest of your life.
Every night next to
That's
me.
country. That's country.
You got it. That's country right there at its finest.
Yeah.
Just need a
And
dead dog in there somewhere.
remind me later. I have a Canadian country question. I did have one. What was it like while you were having clear success? Whether other people were asking about your plan B or not, you were in high school during this, correct? And how did your high school as a school react to that, or even your classmates? I know you were bullied. Did some of that stop, or did it get worse?
It actually got a lot better. And the funny, crazy thing is, once my first album was released, we sold out the venue.
Somewhere to
I was
go?
about 15. It was
Oh no, that was
called
later.
Live No Lies. So actually that one's available. Not even, I think I have copies of it here at home, but I don't, it's not on
I want one
Spotify or
before you
anything.
get super famous and I can't get it anymore.
Yeah, right. You sell it on eBay or something.
No, I don't know. Well,
I
how
love
famous?
that album actually. Like every time I think about it and I go back to it, I still love it as a songwriter. And
I love that. I love that.
yeah, like,
that you still love what you've done, even though you're not that person anymore.
oh, for sure. And a lot of the kids at school were they didn't know, because I started getting a lot of promotion with the newspapers, like the Ottawa Sun. We had like a whole spread done up, and I had like a photo shoot, and I got all these cool new clothes that I didn't like for free, advertising other businesses in the market
Heck yeah.
in Ottawa. And then in this Ottawa Citizen, I had a big first like front page spread, and it was the people and the students from my friends in the school, they were just like kind of like, wow,
She
Bree's
might be the real
famous all of a
deal.
sudden.
Like,
Yeah. Bree's famous all of a sudden. And like, it's not that I was never really a popular kid. I got along with everyone, and I was, as I said, introverted. So it didn't, it was uncomfortable for me, to be recognized like that. But I knew that that's what the goal was. So, I mean, I just kind of went with it, and
yeah.
I had my like high school boyfriend for 3 years, and he was in my first music video and all that.
Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah.
mean, can you stand watching it now? Or are you friends now? Like,
Yeah, well, no, we don't talk
we
anymore.
don't
I
have to
think
go
I
there.
saw him like for a few years ago at a wedding. But yeah, you could see him in my video. It's the first music video I ever did. It's called I Will Be, and we spent like $35,000 on that video. Now it's like you can do a full music video for like $1, using an app. So it's
Yeah, you got to
like
pay for the iPhone first, though.
you
I
got to
mean,
pay for your device, yeah.
yeah.
And you
That's the
have to learn how
barrier.
to do it all on your own, the editing
And
and
you
stuff.
can
But
enter. I found this out last week. Last guest, Dean Redmond. He runs the Hollywood North International Film Festival, and he says anybody can enter. The fees are all super low. People have entered with videos made on an iPhone.
wow.
Like, you can enter film festivals. Anybody can. Like, I love that. Now the
Yeah.
barrier is low, and everybody can be. If you have an art, chances are you have a way to
Yeah.
get into it.
You can do it. Yeah, it's all do
I
it
love it.
yourself. Go to YouTube and figure it out,
Just that's what
Figure out
we're
how to
trying to do. Yeah.
well, and that's what we're doing too with my our podcast, the distillery, I mean, I was going through a lot this summer, and I was just like, I want to find something to take my mind off, things that were happening, and I'm like, I want to build a koi fish pond. And I've always wanted a pond. Like ever since I was a little girl, I wanted
Okay.
a pond, and my dad never let me build one. I've got my own house now. I'm,
Now
you
you're
know,
a
a
grown ass
mom.
adult.
I'm a grown ass woman. And I was like, I'm going to do it. Went to YouTube, TikTok, learned everything about it. And it's because I love it. It was fun. It's fun still. And now I've got my koi fish and they're huge. And I just go up to my pond every time I can just like kind of bring it back down to basics, like just go back into like a zen state. Those koi fish have really got me through a lot.
I love that. I really do. That's I get it too. Every other weekend, I live closer to the city than I grew up in the country. My neighbors had cows.
Oh,
I
mine
live closer to
too.
the city now, but every other weekend when the weather's okay, I have to go to my camp. And what I do at the camp is nothing. I sit
Nothing.
by a fire.
Yeah.
I walk around and look at the trees I've looked at for years. Like I just have to, and
Mhm. Oh,
I
for
have to.
sure.
So I get the koi. I get that something you've always
Yeah.
wanted, and here it is. I've always wanted to just, and a lot of times I'm solo. Sometimes friends stop by. Sometimes the wife's with me, but like that,
Mhm.
that's there for me. That's my
That's your
focus.
place. Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
love that.
cool.
I'm glad you have that, and like
Yeah.
he's like, nope, I'm getting that pond.
I'm
Yeah.
getting it. I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm just gonna do it. Throw my mind into it. It was really fun. And I'm still
So
having fun.
I want to go. So in that was your first album. Did you have any between your first album and 2012?
Yes. So my first album was 15, and then I did another two albums with the same producer and the same company. One was called Ready to Fly, and then the next one was called No Regrets. Um, and on No Regrets, we had 4 songs that we did with a producer in the UK who used to work with Elton John in the 70s. And we got to go to Stoke-on-Trent, which is a little pottery town, and we recorded at this studio called Prism Studios, and we
That
did 4
sounds
songs,
familiar.
and it was really cool. I got to see the studio where the Beatles, Abbey Road, the
Yeah.
Beatles played and recorded, and I mean, I was still so young at that point that I didn't really even realize how cool the experience was.
No, I
That's why I
get
say
it. I
every time I think about those years, I'm like, God, I didn't even know how badass that was, you know?
but
Um, yeah,
how could you? Like,
yeah.
you're
I
not
was
the
just
same person you were then. Like, you're
no.
very, I always remind people, like, when they don't want, they hold a grudge from childhood because this kid did something mean. I'm like, you realize that was a kid that did that to another
Yeah,
kid. You're an adult and they're an
exactly.
adult. Like, maybe there's regret on their side. And I don't know.
Exactly.
We were kids. We did a lot of dumb stuff. And
Mhm. Kids
I give
do.
myself forgiveness. I could try to give others some too, but like, yeah, why would you
Yeah.
do that? Like Beatles, they're an old guy band. I don't know. And
And,
then
like,
you get
Elton
the
John, oh.
history and you see the
Yeah.
influence. Yeah, this guy, he worked with some other old guy who wrote a song on a piano.
Who wrote, like
And
yeah.
then you read what Elton John has done
Yeah.
in the music world. And you're like, oh, well, maybe he was,
Maybe
like a
he was, like, the real deal. I don't know.
yeah, maybe we'll
But I
find out.
yeah. And I was so like I had all these opportunities, and 18-year-old Brie was invited to the Elton John show at the Corel Center here in Ottawa at the stadium to sit right in the middle on the
Oh
floor
my.
where the sound tech was and just enjoy the concert. And like, you know, my mom and then my management at the time, they were just like, God, we would die for this opportunity and she's getting it, you know?
And you got to sit at
So
the best place
yeah.
audio wise in the entire place because the
Yeah.
sound guy's
And
right there.
exactly. You just watch him do his thing. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It
I
was
love sitting
cool.
right behind the sound guy, or even I went to a show recently where I watched the camera guys and lighting guys and the whole behind the sound. It was
Do their
almost
thing. Yeah.
more impressive because it was just a full on a choreographed show, almost musical, but it was just wonderful seeing the people that are also working on the stage.
Oh, for sure, yes.
Yeah,
'Cause
it was good
it's
stuff.
not just about the stars, not just about like, there's so many working parts. It's
A
about
good
those,
crew
you
makes a
know
good show.
yeah, and those people, the reason why they got into it because they love music, or they're somehow connected to music, and it's all
Best way to
everyone
see a free
has
show.
Yeah. Yeah. Be a
I've
part of
been
the
I've been
entourage.
security when I couldn't afford tickets. I volunteered to do security for
Oh,
bands, like, and
nice.
then like it easily could have went. Now we need you to do rigging. Now we need you to like, can you
Yeah.
at least haul the guitar equipment in from the truck? I could have. That was next steps.
Yeah.
Um, I
That's
I
cool.
got to get through. Weird. I love talking to you. I am rambling. I apologize.
That's all good.
You're
I do
super
too.
fun. So
Oh, thank you.
in 2012, you did the country switch.
Mhm.
You became the lady you are today.
Yeah.
2015, Believe. Sorry,
Believe, you got
I
it.
know
Yeah.
how to sit. And then in 2018, Demons. But here's
Mhm.
something that I was going through your list on Spotify of your most popular songs.
Mhm.
First one, I'm sure you know, Flip Flops and White Claws.
Yep.
Most listened
Yeah.
to. With You Whiskey, which Josh and I just listened to before you got on. Bottom of
Nice.
the Bottle would be number 3. And then
Right.
number 4 is Hell on High Heels. And this tells me something about country music fans in that alcohol sells more than sex.
Yeah. When it comes to country, woo!
I thought sex would rule in all categories, but I'm like, no,
Right?
that's drinking. That's drinking. Um,
Yep. It's just
Hell
a
on High Heels
trend.
isn't necessarily sex. So that brings my next question to you. I am a bourbon fan. What is your favorite whiskey?
Oh, okay. I favorite whiskey, Gibson. I like
Okay.
Gibsons. And Royale. I
Yeah,
mean,
Crown's very like it's the
Crown.
most commercial that I drink, but it's delicious.
Yeah, but it's good. Yeah, it always kind of does the trick. Whenever I go, I've been to Nashville so many times to get, well, we went to Lynchburg and we would get the Jack Daniels
Got it. Well, if you're
at the
in, you have
distillery
to
there. And
at least once.
at least once. Yeah, we did.
At least.
And it was Brooks and Dunn, their winery. Um, because I love wine as well. I mean, I'm a white wine drinker mostly.
Oh, I wish I liked
And
wine. I get a headache.
oh, and see, that's the thing, like, too, like, if I stray away from it, then and I go back to it, then I'll get a headache.
I
But,
just if I have a half of a small glass, I'm guaranteed a headache, or
oh,
even champagne. Yeah,
really?
for
The
whatever it is,
phosphates or something?
phosphates possibly. I've had some that they no phosphates or no additional phosphates, or
And it's
and
still
it just happens. It also used to happen a lot with the like Mike's White or Mike's Hard Lemonade.
oh, yeah.
Those types of malts that were
Sugar,
like highly
maybe?
clarified. Yeah, it could
Yeah,
be.
maybe it's the
They drank a
sugar.
lot of beer. That's a lot of
Yeah,
sugars. Anyway,
yeah.
nobody wants our my medical diagnosis. Uh, speaking of whiskey, your newest single is Whiskey Rattle, and I want
Yeah,
to know what inspired it. Did you see the segue there? Did
awesome.
you see how I got there?
Awesome, yeah, you're great.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I was
it
curious, what inspired
that's a
Whiskey Rattle
great
for you?
yeah, that's a great
Interesting
question because
lyrics, by the way.
it was thank you. It was inspired by a real life story. My
Okay.
friend, one of my friends, um, he is an amazing he owns businesses here and he builds houses. His favorite drink is whiskey and water with, like, lots of ice, and I think does he like lemon in it? I can't remember. But,
Say no. Say no.
say no, I know, I love
No
lemon
lemon.
and everything, but,
I'm fine with
um
ice or water in your whiskey, but there you go.
yeah, so and I always was like, "Okay, wow." So it's literally like a glass of whiskey with lots of ice, chucked full of ice and water. And then we would have our drinks, and I played for a bunch of his parties, his employees and stuff. Like my band and I would play these shows every year, summer at his house. And he said it once. He's like, "Bree, what about this whiskey rattle? Like, why can't you, like, why don't you come up with a song that's called Whiskey Rattle?" Because he's like, "Because I've been thinking about this. And I love to drink, I love my whiskey. Well, when I'm drinking whiskey, all night, and then I start to get this rattle in my voice. It's like raspy." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what whiskey does, right? Gives you that nice raw rasp." He goes, "Yeah, but I think to me, it's more like a rattle. It's like when I talk and then it kind of rattles after." So that, I mean, that was years ago when he said that to me, but it always stuck in my head as
Naive.
like a great kind of and I like to write a lot of my songs beginning with the titles. Like, what would be a rockin' title? Like a cool
Okay.
title that people would be like, "Oh, okay, maybe we should listen to that song," like Whiskey Rattle. And for example, like the first verse of Hell on High Heels is my ex-boyfriends say I'm crazy. So I'm always trying to like come up with like
At
a really
first.
cool, enticing, engaging set of words and phrases in order to get the listener
Hey, that's how
engaged.
you sell a book. Why wouldn't it be how you sell a song?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I kept that idea with me all these years, and then the last time I went to Nashville, was just last summer, to record, which is what I do every year. I was like, you know what? Let's write this song, and I sat down, and it did come really fast. I had trouble making it a little bit longer. Like I wanted it to be a little bit longer, but because it's like a 2-minute song. It's like 2:50, I think, which is perfect for radio. I mean, they
Mhm.
always want the songs to be shorter, but it's kind of like a party song. I wanted, my fans and my friends and my supporters to have the chance to really have fun with it and like create their own little dances if they
Yeah.
wanted to, and post them on TikTok and stuff.
Move the feet.
Yep, do the two-step.
Do it. I learned how to two-step. I was taught how to.
Did
That's
you?
one of the few dances I could possibly do, and there's no excuse not to. That was how I was
Yep,
in a country bar, and a lady walked up and asked me to dance. I don't know how to. She's like, "Yes, you do. Get up here." Like it was
just
that.
do it.
She embarrassed me into. Oh, that's okay. That I could do that. Sure. Can you remember this phrase? Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody watching this knows the phrase. Fast, fast, quick, or quick,
Oh,
quick,
yeah.
slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, or
Those,
similar.
kickball turn. Kickball
No, I would have broken my neck. You kidding me?
or is it chain ball? Ball chain? I can't remember. I did some dance lessons too.
It's just something that's never been in me.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started dating my wife, we'd go to dance clubs, and I just would try at a song I liked and knew. I'd even try getting dance for, and she's like, "Just stop doing that with your hands." I'm like, "Then what do I do with my?" She's like, "Just stop." Like my wife, who
Just
wanted me to dance in the worst way, was just like, "Just stop. You can't do
just
this.
put your hands down.
This isn't your thing." I didn't know. I was like,
That's so funny.
uh,
What did I just say?
"Hey, I want to maybe help you here. When you are in Nashville, what is your favorite bar? Let's get you some free
Ooh,
drinks. Free drinks from your favorite
free
bar.
drink. I love Tootsie's. That's like the one of the
Tootsie's
biggest one. That's one of the
in Nashville.
popularest ones. But yeah, Tootsie's in it kind of. I love it because it's kind of like a hole in the wall, but once you go in, there's like 3 levels, so you can kind of keep walking back and then like climbing the stairs, and then there's a rooftop patio. And they always have like 3 different sections of music as well. So
Oh,
there's
beautiful.
always like
If you don't like it, go
amazing.
upstairs.
Yeah, just move to a different room. And what's another one? When I go honky tonking in Broadway, which is what I love to do that. I love Miranda Lambert's bar. Always has good live entertainment. And I go to Mellow Mushroom for their pizza because I love pizza and it's so good.
Pizza is proof that we are an evolved
Pi-
species.
Pizza is life.
Pizza's just
It's
wonderful.
always good, right?
I have pizza every Friday. It is our Friday. We're done with work. Let's treat ourselves to something awesome meal. That's what
Good
pizza
for
is. Like
you.
we can have anything. We're adults. We
Yep.
we make the shopping list. Like we can do whatever we want. We can go. We can
Yeah.
go anywhere. We get pizza, and it's awesome.
It's
Uh,
wonderful. I
that's how
mean, you
good
got
pizza is.
you got your favorite pizza place, go for it. And mine is like a little bit, it's about 40-minute drive from here. So I always have to get like Pizza Hut or something that's around here.
That's a
But
problem with living in the country.
yeah,
Uh,
that's when you're rural. Yeah.
I grew up near a small town. I say near because I wasn't in that small. It was a small town, but they somehow had 4 independent pizza places, and 3 of them were pretty good.
Wow.
Uh, and it's also, I think, the further you get away from Pittsburgh, the harder it is. From New York, let's say New York's the center of it. It's harder to find
Yeah.
a good independent pizza place. And then you have Chicago area where they have some, but you got
Yeah.
to afford it. It's just chain after chain and strip mall after strip mall. It's hard
Uh,
to find. I'm in a good pizza world.
Yeah, like
here near Pittsburgh.
okay, wow, that's great to know. I'm definitely
I have at
gonna
least 14 right now that would deliver to me,
wow, and that are
independent
good.
or very small chain. I
That's
don't know about good.
awesome.
There's some real crap ones. Uh,
Right. I love the Napoleon types, like the traditional like wood fire pizza. That's my favorite.
is
So
that the one with the liquid crust? Here, there's a
nope.
Canadian pizza where you pour the crust.
No, this would be dough, but it's cooked in like a wood fire oven with like flames
Okay, yeah.
and um yes, but they don't have any like they have wood fired pizza places in the city, but here it's more just like Pizza Hut, pizza. Oh, there's a really good
Uh,
mom and pop one here. It's called Spartan Pizza. It's so good. And they do like stuffed crust and really good wings. So,
don't let them go away. Keep them
yeah,
forever. Like Pizza
right?
Hut here in the States is just about over. I think we went to one recently just to take a picture in case we can never go back.
Oh,
I don't like Pizza Hut. My wife does. It's a point of contention in our house. It's like mayonnaise versus a Miracle Whip.
really?
Um, but thankfully we agree on that one so we could stay married.
Yeah.
You can't have a mayonnaise Miracle Whip house. It just doesn't work.
You know what? That's funny because my husband's like he loves mayonnaise, but I mean I don't really care, but I'm used to getting Miracle Whip. My mom kind of raised
Guys,
us on that.
listen, give me a call when you need some counseling. I'll fix you guys up. You will have to give up Miracle Whip. Sorry.
Awesome.
I'm
Good
here
to
for you.
know.
Yeah, no, I'm
Thank
here for you.
you.
I'm here for you. I'll help you get through this. I did want to know, back on topic, for you, what was your easiest album to complete and what was your hardest album to complete and why?
Oh, that's really great. I gotta say the hardest album to complete for me was my album's called Somewhere to Go. Because it was right at the point that decided to switch people I was working with. I totally left the company that I was in and started doing everything on my own, even if I had to go to the bars and play till 3 a.m. on my own. Like I was willing to do that. And so I started working with a producer, a Canadian, kind of like a Canadian icon. He was the lead guitarist of the band called Prairie Oyster from Canada. And he working with him it was definitely different experience than I expected it to be. He's an amazing guitar player, and I think it was more like recording recording live off the floor, like kind of like feeling it wasn't like I was going into the studio every day and recording harmonies and like
The same
thinking
thing,
of
but slightly
yeah, it
different.
was
Yeah.
yeah, he just kind of really took over. Even the chord progressions to the songs, like he would write different ones. So it was really different for me to not have the same kind of control that I used to have, like the creative control. And it was a total different sound that I was used to. We didn't lay heavy on the reverb, which I love, for as being a female vocalist. I
A
love my
vocalist, yeah.
reverb.
I know, but yeah, I think for me, I like it when I have less reverb on the vocals because then I could really get to know
Because
them.
then you
I don't
can
know. I know
really
that makes no
hear.
sense. Like it seems like when I hear somebody, I can almost, this is not the right phrasing. There's nothing sensible about this. I can map their mouth, their vocal chambers. Like they have
Yeah,
a deep voice, they have a round voice, and like I
yeah,
know it sounds weird, but like that's what I like about the less effects. But I also get when it's awesome,
yeah, yeah.
especially for
And
me
that's
because I suck. You know?
no, that's because there are totally different, like all kinds of different places where the voice resonates, and
Yeah,
it is hard to tell like when certain people are using their mixed voice, when they're using their chest voice, or when they're using their head voice. Like everyone's different, and because you have that intensity, you're looking for that stuff. That's cool. That's like that's like what a good producer or director would do.
I did that
Um,
with you when I was listening to you because I heard different eras or different songs with different intentions, and I was doing my
mm.
mouth like, "Oh, this is very different," and like you do mix it up vocally, and I was
Yeah,
picking that up.
I've evolved so much around in the even now today where I'm when I'm just like driving and I'm singing, I'm just like, God, that like that note for me, it's up here, whereas like I felt like it was supposed to come from here, and I was just supposed to like reach for it from my chest. But anyway, you get into talking and all about all that stuff, and it does. It's its own little animal for sure, and because you've had that training, you know.
Yeah. Hey, but
Um,
let's get back to what the album
but yeah, so that was the
difficulty level for you.
hardest.
Yeah.
That's the hardest one I did, and it's because it was the most out of my comfort zone. And then I'll say the easiest one that I've done will have to be Brie Hashtag Brie is what it's called. Um,
Oh, I missed the hashtag. I'm sorry.
it's though that's all good. It's, it's kind of the trend, right? So we kind of went with that hashtag, and we went with it because also the radio station in my hometown and in um the whole lot of them, so the Rogers country radio stations in Canada were really supportive with my music. They were playing it all. I released my first song, Honey, and I think it started on the chart, on the Billboard charts, and then there was With You Whiskey. But these were all songs that I had like total 100% control over. Like I was like, okay, now I'm the producer. I'm going to go to Nashville and I'm going to work with these amazing musicians, and they're going to treat me like a real professional client as I am. There's going to be no egos. There's going to be, and that's what happened. I just had total control, and I said, I was allowed to put my whole passion into it. Like, oh, I want to write a song like this, and then show it to them, and then they listen to my song that I wrote, and then they totally turn it into something that's just like, how did that happen? So I would say that once I started going to Nashville, and that was the first album I recorded in Nashville, that's when it got a lot easier.
So your big advice to anybody who really wants to take to the next step is you have to go where it's done.
Just yeah, go where is time is money, and like they're a they're a well-oiled machine in Nashville. So they're
But
gonna,
yeah,
because here in Canada, I'm more of a bigger fish than I am in Nashville. In Nashville, I'm like this little small fish, and they're just wanting to do my stuff right the way I want it, the way what I'm paying for, and then move on to the next artist because
sure.
there's that many. Go to where, and also in Canada, the pricing, in my experience, I've spent so much money recording in Canada, as opposed like so much more money in Canada than I have recording in Nashville. So, for
This is where I
example,
have to make that joke, but
yeah,
it's Canadian money. But anyway, sorry.
that's true. It's true, but
I have
but
to. I'm
now,
hacked. I have to throw it out there.
and I'll tell you right now that I love that because I get paid. So when I get my royalties every month, they come from Sound Exchange, which is an American organization. So everything that I get, I know I'm going to get a certain amount American, and then it just increases because it comes through as Canadian when they give it. So just
Don't
like,
tell them. They'll figure that out and find another way to screw the art. No.
yeah. So, I mean, and because I don't have to pay any percentages to anyone else, like I own
Yeah,
everything on my own, and I write a lot of my own songs. That's how I've made it work for me.
that's awesome. Yeah,
That's how I'm
I
able to
love it.
feed my family. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's sadly what a lot of musicians, non-independents have to give up is that this is my song.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I do know I could do it for whatever the number they throw me if it's good enough, but it's got to hurt a little. When
Yep. When
Paul
you have
McCartney was
to,
trying to buy back his Beatles music, and Michael Jackson's like, "Yoink, nope,
it's
that's
mine.
no,
I
like you
know.
didn't do anything."
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just I did.
Crazy.
On a song level, I had a question for you. It's kind of a deeper question, and it involves fans. So after this question, we're gonna have Josh run our things, and we do want to encourage people to please, if you have questions in our chat, please jump in, ask a question,
Yeah.
and we want to hear from you. Speak up. Bree's here for you too. We
Yeah.
don't usually get a lot. We get people watching. They don't. There we go. Thanks.
There we
Um,
go.
uh, thanks, Attic. The question I have for you is, how do you what's it like hearing stories about how your lyrics, your words, have changed lives? What's that feel?
That's
What's that like for you?
that's the greatest feeling in the world, and it's when I think about all the stuff that I had to go through, and then, there's this doubt in your mind that, like, you're always thinking, "Ugh, it was all for nothing," or like, why did I decide to do this?" And then all of a sudden, you'll have someone come up to you after a show and say, "That song, Bottom of the Bottle, that song saved my life. I was about to just end it." Like, and then so that stuff like that has happened to me, and it's like all of a sudden it comes back around. It's like, ding, that's why you're doing it. It what kind of expectations are you looking for other than connecting with someone on that kind of level where it could mean their life, and because the fact that you were going through something similar, they knew they weren't alone. So like they hold on to that little piece of validation or hope or whatever in a song, and it can change everything. And that's why that's why music is a gift, right?
I
Because
agree.
it
I
brings us together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the point of art is to stir emotion. When you do that,
Exactly.
you know you've won as an artist, but then the other side of that is when you stir emotion, you make somebody feel alive, and
Yes.
hopefully you're making them feel better, or you're letting
Yeah.
them know there's hope. Which
Yeah.
is the great thing about art. Art can you can deliver any message you want with art.
Mhm.
I think the great artists stir things that make you better.
Yeah.
That to me is a different. Anything can be art, and I agree. But it's the job of art
For
to
sure.
make you
It's the
feel.
job and the purpose, yeah. It's a gift.
So yes, I love those stories, and the more I've been doing the show, the more I've been hearing them, and I definitely wanted to hear yours.
Oh,
And before Josh rolls our ad stuff, do you have any like just the first time it happened? Any good like just
yeah.
set you
So,
back?
yeah, one of my really good friends, she's now a really good friend, but because of that song, like, I never knew her before. Um, she she came out to a venue that I was playing at, um, in the area, and she was too nervous to come up to me. It was her sister that actually, like, made her come up to me to tell her so she could tell her story, and that she was what she was going through, and she just kept on going on and on. She's like, "I can't, like, your song, Bottom of the Bottle," she's like, I will follow you everywhere if you were gonna write songs like that." And now she's like a close friend of mine, and we get together, in the summer, and we I went to her wedding. I She walked down the aisle to one of my songs that I recorded. I think it's
Oh
on my
wow! Oh
Brea
wow!
album. Yeah, yeah. She walked down the aisle to it. I think her first dance was another one of my songs. Like it, yeah. It just
Your family
and
now.
yeah, she calls me her wonder wall. I'm her wonder wall because she would even come out to shows that I would play at bars where there was hardly anybody there, till 3 in the morning, and she would request all these songs of mine that she loves, and then she'd say, "Now play Wonderwall," because she loved it when because it's so overplayed, but she loved that song, and I would always play it for her, including my own songs, which is I'll never ever forget her. And then, going on stage and seeing the people in the audience sing the lyrics back to me, like my own lyrics, that was just a dream come true for sure.
I I can only imagine. I can only
So,
imagine. Like I can't
yeah.
even like put myself there. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
Thank you for sharing that though. Like it's great
Yes,
to get
thank
that
you.
insight and to see the smile on your face right now when you're telling it. Like that's a genuine like
I'm beaming.
those are fans who saved your life sort of
Oh,
moments, you
for
know?
sure.
Yeah.
As much as I've
Yeah.
done for them, they've done a whole hell of a lot more for me. Mhm.
Hey, Josh, do you want to go through the upcoming slides, news, whatever we have going on?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to grab
Take
a
a look.
drink. Number one reason.
It's such a great conversation. I don't want to break in with all this, but I will say that neither one of us here, Nathaniel and I, cannot say that we've ever had a song played as somebody walked down the aisle, but we have both performed weddings. So that's little
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
close.
I have 7, maybe 7. No, but let's go with 15 marriages and 1 divorce.
Wow.
That's pretty good track record.
That's
if
a
you're
pretty
looking
good
higher.
record. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to
Yeah. And
hear.
she
That's
I
3-0,
married her
so
again,
whatever.
and that one's sticking. So,
That's awesome.
Well, either way, that's a great story, and I really appreciate hearing as well.
Thank you.
But we do have up on the channel now. A couple weeks ago, we spoke with Joe Cool, and she's got her episodes up now. Those are going, and coming soon. Last week we had a really great conversation with Dean Redman, and those will be.
That episode should be edited and up soon.
Yeah, that was a really good conversation as well.
Cool.
Amazing actor.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
February 20th.
Gavi, I believe his last name is pronounced Hal Cohen. He is a cult expert, and we're going to talk on that episode about how he became a cult expert, but also what to do if a loved one, is getting involved with a cult, or what you think is a cult, how to identify if it's a cult, and also how do you know if you're being groomed by a cult. We're just going to talk about it and raise some awareness, because this is all relationship stuff here.
I love
I guess
that.
we're not going to start a cult.
We're going to out ourselves if we were going to. Sorry.
I really want to catch that episode.
That'll be a good one.
Next week, same
Oh
time.
yeah, awesome.
us.
Okay, I will.
And then the following week, February 27th.
Douglas Vermeeren, director, actor, producer from Canada, as well as Dean. He has a bunch of videos. He just Black Cleek, Fresh Meat, Jackknife, Tenants, How to Be a Hitman 101, just lots of stuff. And he's involved with a series of films based on the science of getting rich. That is also based on a book by that name. So we're going to find out more. I honestly don't have enough info, and that's why he's going to be on the show.
Awesome. And then looking way in the future, next month, March 20th.
We have one of the Jerky Boys, Kamal Ahmed, who's now a writer, producer, and comedian. And his show that you can watch right now, Crash the System, is, I believe, going into a 3rd season. And he's done a lot of stuff. I cannot wait to talk to Kamal. He's agreed to come on, and that's going to be killer. Just
awesome.
looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
And finally,
I think that's what I got right now.
Yeah. I don't have a slide up for it, but Uwe Boll, who we interviewed last year, will be back. A special Saturday show because of the time zone differences between us and Germany. And we're going to talk about his upcoming his movie. I think he's filming right now or finishing up, Dark Knight, which is the reboot, sort of, not reboot, but continuation of his Rampage series. So if you were a fan of those, it's going to an all new level, this time with Armie Hammer. So this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what the press has to write about both of them working together. And that's it. Let's get back to you, Bree. Thank you for letting us take a break and do the dirty work to try to get more. We never do that regularly enough. So we've been trying to push to make sure we get it up.
Oh yeah, for sure. You got to get your content in there and make sure you promote the episodes.
Gotta promote. I saw on yours. You had a great interview too. We're going to talk about what you're doing now in the future. So let's talk about your podcast. You just released an episode yesterday, I think, right?
Yes, we did an episode with a friend of ours who is working on basically a mindset coaching school, I guess you could call it. Sure. And he's got his own clients, and we talked a lot about your perception and how your mind really affects the things that you do, and the thoughts that you have affect the things that happen in life. And it was really fun to sit down and talk with him. He's been through a lot. And I still have to do a bunch of promotion content for that episode. Like this is great.
Like your elevator speech, all the stuff you have to do around it.
I just gotta get it all
fair. I have the same problem. You saw it like 2 minutes ago. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a good problem, I guess, to have. You're getting deep into what you like to do, and then you have lots of content. All of a sudden, you don't know what to do with it all. So
I'll give you a quick little hint though. Whenever you do the descriptions, I take I put it on YouTube. I take the transcript that YouTube does for you for free. I put it into ChatGPT in sections because it'll do about 50 minutes of text. I have it summarized, and then either I'll write based on the summarize, or I put in front of it, this text was generated by AI. So people know.
Okay.
I always tell people when we use AI, but it
Yeah.
will at least give you a great rewriting point if you wanted to like summarize.
It's so good.
Yeah,
Chat
it helps.
GBT. Yeah. It really
Um,
I use it a lot for like promotion strategies, marketing strategies, and yeah, writing.
it's if you're planning on doing any sort of podcast or show, like using the tools out there, it might not get you ahead, but it will make your life a little easier.
Yeah, for
But put
sure.
yourself in there, and when you use AI, tell people, please tell
Yeah,
people that
yeah.
you've used AI, unless your whole point is to just be disruptive. But
No.
let people know that, like
Yeah,
when you're not a genius or when you don't have enough time, it's okay to let people know that you had help.
that's
So don't
right.
hide it and don't try to look more of a badass than you are. Um,
Yeah.
how can people find that podcast?
Yeah, so go to BreaLawrenson.com, BreaLawrenson.com, and all of my links are there. You can get my Patreon as well. We have 81 members on Patreon.
Awesome. Let's get you to
Really
100. Let's
having
get you to
fun.
100
Wouldn't that
by
be
May.
amazing? Oh, and also because we do a lot of giveaways. We gave away $1,000 to one of our Patreon members in Virginia. A big Yeti Tundra cooler to our other members from Alabama. And we did $100 gift card at Christmas. We give a lot away, but there's also a lot of exclusive content like singing lessons and guitar lessons and new releases. Right now we have
Like Whiskey Rattle.
like Risky Rattle and like the songs that I'm just starting to write. I'll sometimes post them as like just the voice notes so you can really hear the rough version. The
I
real
love
rough
that. That's
version.
brave. Well, no, it's not brave for
Yeah.
you. You're fantastic. Like you're not releasing crap. But as somebody who had to work at it really, yeah, I know you work at it really hard. That's not fair. But
No,
it's
it's true. It
it's
sometimes
a
it
difference.
just comes natural to some more than others, for sure. And like being a vocal teacher, I know that.
I
Sometimes it
took
takes
vocal lessons because I sucked. Like I knew I was bad. I was told not to be in chorus in 5th grade, like telling a 5th grader that he shouldn't
Aw,
sing. But
that's
it
not nice.
encouraged me to do better. It wasn't nice. It wasn't nice, but it did
Yeah,
encourage. Like I took it and like, oh no, I'm going to learn how.
right.
That's why I was bad, and I subjectively bad. It was true. So, and I'm not great now, but because of Harriet Colbank, my vocal inspiration, my entire life,
Oh, cool.
because of her,
Yeah.
I now don't suck at karaoke at least.
There you go. That's
Like,
wonderful.
so I'm
Yeah.
happy with that. And but yeah, you that's awesome. You released that though. Like people get to hear
Yeah.
like
So,
the
I mean,
beginning and the end.
and that's what I want for my community so that people that have never been into a studio before, they can come live with me in the Nashville studio. I'm always live streaming for that, and they can get up close, they can be little flies
You
on the
can see
wall
how
and
the business works.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
you're teaching other people who might want to do it. That's amazing.
Exactly. So
But
and right now we're doing a Valentine's Day giveaway. So
tell
you
more.
can join before tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Join a tier and you can get you may be able to win one of 4 gift cards that we're giving away right now. So well, always something going on to give back.
Love it. Love it. You got to keep it up. You got to keep
Yeah.
it and new things, different things. You have to try things that you're like, that'll never work. And that's the biggest thing you've
Let's
ever
just
done.
try it.
You
Yep.
never know. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of creativity. I
Yeah.
don't know if Josh, we talked about something right before you jumped on for the pre-show. I don't know if he's going to do this or not, but I'm going to ask this question anyway. When you went from pop to country, have you ever recorded or do you plan to record a song that is a completely other genre?
That's a great question. Because I've been really thinking of lately. I don't even know how I would do it though. If I was to write a collection of songs in like pop as a pop genre. I know that, and I'm thinking that it could be a cool project to do because it could offer me more opportunities to get more, earn more royalties, get more streams, all this kind of thing. I would really have to like,
It's a
I'd really
brand
have to
thing too.
listen. Yeah, I'd really have to decide my whole vision of how those songs would go. Like, would it be like an Adele kind of thing? Would it be like what's that new girl right now, Serena Carpenter kind of thing? Would it be like Amy Winehouse kind of thing? I mean, I would love to explore all of those. Like I just love music, really.
Yeah,
So I would do it. I think I would take the risk in order to amplify my career. Hoping that that's what it would do, but you
you could
go
always
and you
do.
try things.
Who was the '90s country musician who changed had a different name? Miley Cyrus, Billy Ray Cyrus. Didn't he have like a
Ye- oh,
persona?
yes.
You're thinking Garth Brooks, I think.
Yeah, that's
Garth
what I'm
Brooks. Was it Garth?
Garth
Sorry.
Brooks. He had like an alternative, an alt.
He was an
Yeah, you could do
emo
that.
guy.
Yeah, that's funny because we were talking about that on another interview I did just recently and I said, you know what? If I could do pop, I would, or I could go into like children's books or like children's like making children's content, like children's songs, and be like the next Miss Rachel.
Hey, there's a lot of money in kids music.
Yeah,
let's be there.
it just
But
like
if you also enjoy it and you have a kid, that's the best part.
well, that's the thing.
Like it's
I'm always like
this is what
singing
works
to
for
him
me.
and he's always singing back and I'm just like, let's press record one day maybe.
I just got to know Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines. Oh, that was
That
his
was his. That
alter.
was his.
Yeah.
That was the alter
Yeah.
ego. Yeah.
Yes, that's right, alter
Gaines.
ego.
That was a weird little moment in music history. I think that was
Weird,
right
I
around
know.
the time that I think Milli Vanilli got busted, wasn't it? I just in my head, it's the same era. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Don't correct me in the
Vanilli.
comments. I'm just guessing here, but the cobwebs in my brain. I have one last question for you. We're a little bit over, and I apologize for that, but I got to know the answer to this.
Sure, yeah.
It's softball. In the United States, the perfect country song, as you know, has trucks, trains, rain, ex-wives, dogs.
Yeah.
Besides maple syrup and poutine, what would be in the perfect Canadian country song, and why won't you write it?
Learning how to drive on black ice. There's an idea. But I think Terry Clark
That would have to be
already
a
did.
rambling country song that speeds up too.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the first time we got alcohol in the convenience stores. That was a big day.
We had the same thing in Pittsburgh.
Oh, really? Okay.
You couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays and only in like beer stores. And then they started selling convenience stores, changed our lives.
Crazy, eh? I'm just like, finally, like, Quebec and Hull, we're not too far from there. We always could just go to the convenience store and get, or when I'm in Nashville, you can Instacart it, go to any store. I was like, it's just so much more convenient.
Hey, when you go to the store, and this will be the last question. When you go to a store and a fan recognizes you, comes up to you.
Yeah.
I know you're a homebody and you're shy. Does it just totally throw you off your game? Or I know
Not
for a
anymore.
fact you show them appreciation and you do the thing.
For sure.
But like
I
5
usually
minutes
tell
later,
them they
you're
made
like,
my day. Yeah.
yeah. And they did. Clearly, I know you're not lying about that because,
Yeah.
I know you well enough now, I think, to say that. But does the 5 minutes later, you're like, I just wanted eggs.
I know. Yes. Oh, for sure. That's a lot of our town is getting a lot bigger now. Yeah. But my mom would always say, she would say, don't wear your pajamas to Walmart anymore, okay?
It's a good manager.
Like,
that's good manager and mom advice.
Yeah. People in our Walmart, they know who you are, Brienne. Don't wear that. So,
oh, the full name. You're in trouble.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm in trouble then.
The middle. You're screwed. Thank you so much for being here, Brea Lawrenson.
Thank you.
I loved meeting you. I love hearing about your success. Every ounce of work you've put into this, and I love getting the story out there that this is work, that people have to work for it. If you want it, you're not gonna accidentally become a musician. Work at it. If you love this, if this is something important to you, rewatch this video and learn what Brea had to go through. The dues are still being paid. They always are. And you're always giving up something, a part of yourself. So thank you for sharing that with us. I really loved our time together. Thank you so much.
Thank
Brea.
you. You've been wonderful. This has been so fun. I'd love to come back anytime.
You will be back. I guarantee
Thank you. Awesome.
Josh, play us out. Let's get out of here.
that is quite a question.
Oh, you are so funny. That is so true. You're like the only person that's ever asked me that question.
I'm really glad that you noticed that, you pointed that out.
So I just want to give you a shout out and say it's appreciated.
It's been so fun chatting with you guys. I didn't realize how late it got.
I'll always talk to you guys.
Thanks very much. And again, you guys are super well prepared. You got your act together. I hope you continue to get more viewers. You deserve them.
You guys, you are the first podcast to bring this up, and I'm impressed. I'm really impressed.
Thank you.
Bye.